Hello and welcome. I'm Joanna Junak and this is GFN News on GFN.tv. In today's program, Arielle Selya, a behavioral science consultant specializing in tobacco harm reduction, will tell us more about her new personal YouTube channel. We met with Arielle shortly after she published her first video. Hello Arielle, thank you for joining us today. Let's start with what inspired you to launch this new initiative.
I've realized that I spend a lot of time on Twitter and on Substack, kind of writing up my thoughts in long form written narratives. But I realized that when as a kind of consumer of social media, I find interesting people on YouTube primarily. Like I do like Substack, but it's a smaller platform and you really have to have an appetite for long written documents, which I do, but most people don't. So I thought I'd try YouTube because it has a bigger platform and some people just like videos better. And I feel like I can maybe get my message out to a wider audience that way.
And why do you think it's important to bring THR science to a wider public?
It's so important because smoking is still the #1 cause of primary preventable death, and we have paper after paper getting published showing how misperceptions are widespread. Most people, just because of the alarmism in the media and some of the messaging from the public health organizations, most people think that e-cigarettes and pouches are just as bad or worse as cigarettes. So I think it's really important to get this message out and break down the science and why some studies can claim one thing, but that's not really supported by the literature. So I'd like to kind of walk people through what the results show versus what the abstract claims.
You started your channel with a paper on e-cigarette use and bronchitis. What made you choose this study?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's nothing particularly bad about this paper. It's one of like hundreds of similar papers. And so it's like I had to start somewhere. And I was, yeah, I had to start somewhere and I had come across that. And it really stood out to me the way that it was cited, because it was cited in another paper as evidence that e-cigarettes can have harmful respiratory effects. And I thought, well, I've done some research on that. Let me look at what this paper says. And the difference between what the results showed and how it was cited was night and day. So I thought it was a good example or a good place to start, at least to show to kind of break down to non-scientists how to interpret the results and where the results deviate from what's being claimed about the results and the narrative that's being spun. So it's one of many, nothing particular about that paper, but I've got plenty to choose from.
So, what's next? Which area of harm reduction are you planning to focus on?
So I'm going to continue. I'm going to hope for that I have time for a weekly video on a paper breakdown. I just released another one yesterday of a paper breaking down a paper claiming that viral TikTok videos might have influenced nicotine pouch sales. So I think I'm going to have like a weekly response paper on whatever I come across that week that I find most glaring. And then bigger picture, there is and continues to be a lot of interest in the gateway hypothesis. And that's where my own research started from. And that's how I entered the tobacco harm reduction field, because I bought into gateway and then ended up convincing myself it wasn't true. So I think I'm gonna have a more general video on gateway and why I changed my mind and what the evidence shows.
Thank you, Arielle. That's all for today. Tune in next time here on GFN TV or on our podcast. You can also find transcriptions of each episode on the GFN TV website. Thanks for watching or listening. See you next time.